Hey guys. Okay, I want to apologize for the planes because they seem to be kind of going nuts today. So I apologize if you hear a bunch of planes during this review. My bad. And the review is da-da-da. It's Game of Thrones by George R. R. Martin. I finished this at 1:10 in the morning last night after a month, and love it. I love this so much. I can't do this review without giving spoilers, unfortunately, because I need to talk about this book in detail after reading it. I need to do it. And I'm going to try to make this review as short as possible, but since I'm going into detail, it might be a little bit long. But yeah, I loved it. Unfortunately, I had to give it a 4.5 because instead of a 5 because there were parts that I thought, and you know, this could be just because I watched the show first, but there were parts that I thought were skippable. Like, there were times, especially in the last 200 pages, I was so anxious to get to the end of the book, that I may or may not have only read dialogue, except for Dany's parts. With Daenerys, I, read all of her part, but that's because her character is my favorite, so her sections of the book are my favorite. And that's actually what all these tabs are. But yeah, I still loved it. I was just really anxious towards the end. I was like, I need to finish this. So, but it was so good. It was amazing. And also I kind of skimmed over, Caitlyn and Sansa's parts because I really dislike them. And that leads me into my characters discussion as to who I loved and who I didn't. And I will start with who I didn't because I would rather end on a good note, so to speak. And there's about to be another plane coming, I'm sorry. But anyway, so, characters I really didn't like. Caitlyn bothered me so much, mostly because of, like, her, treatment of Jon Snow. Yeah, it just, it bothered me. Because the thing is, in the show, I honestly have more sympathy for her, because in the show, you just think that she doesn't like Jon because Jon is, like, every time she sees Jon, she just sees the woman that her husband slept with, when they were first married, and she has to see Jon every day, so that's why she doesn't like him. And that's kind of understandable. Still kind of bitchy, but still kind of understandable. But then, in the book, it explains that the only reason she even married Ned is because she was originally betrothed to his older brother, Brandon, but then Brandon passed away. I mean, he was killed, during the sacking of King's Landing. And so that was the only reason she married Ned, is because he was just the next son down, and they didn't love each other at that point. Like, when they got married, they didn't love each other. They didn't love each other when he and Robert went off to war. They didn't love each other when, Ned had an affair with Jon's mother. Like, so that kind of pissed me off, that, because I felt like she basically didn't have a leg to stand on in that argument after I read that part. And it explains that the reason specifically in the book why she doesn't like Jon is because, like, High Lords had fathered, bastards before, pardon the language, but that's what they are called, but that no other lord had ever brought their bastard child home with them, and that was her resentment of Jon, was that Ned had loved him enough to bring him home. Which I still think that that's a bullshit reason. I mean, she's basically resenting a baby. She's resenting a child that has no control over the situation. So instead of being mad at the person she should be mad at, Ned, she takes it all out on Jon, and she, like, is completely in love with Ned and, like, doesn't blame him, but she blames Jon for being born, and I'm like, no, that is the wrong You are placing the blame in wrong places, lady. Like, grr. And aside from that, I just think she's way too much of a hard ass. Like, I get that, being in the situation she's in, she might have to be a hard ass, but still, she's just, I don't think she's warm. I just don't like her character at all. And then Sansa, their daughter, oh my gosh, this girl is the most selfish human being. Oh, she pissed me off. Apparently she gets better as the books go on, which I appreciate. I appreciate that she is supposedly going to get a backbone. I will find out soon, because I just started season 2 last night, and I'll be reading Clash of Kings as soon as I finish season 2. But yeah, so I get that she, like, starts to get a backbone, and she learns that Joffrey is actually a bastard. Not, like, illegitimate, but actually, technically, he is illegitimate. So he is a bastard, but he is a bastard, if that makes sense. And he's just an asshole and, like, scum of the earth. I'm sorry for my language, but I am going to be cussing in this video because certain people just, I don't like them. But yeah, so she does later get better, but in book 1, no. She is the most selfish. She can only see what she wants, what she needs. She never considers her family. She never considers what her actions are going to do to her family or anything. And it just, I'm really sorry for the planes, but, she just, oh my gosh, she bothers me so much. Like, she doesn't love her little sister at all. She doesn't love Jon. Like, all of her other siblings love Jon as if he is their full-blooded brother rather than their half-blooded brother. And she, like, talks about him like, well, he's a bastard. I mean, of course he's treated the way he is because he's illegitimate and he's not our full brother. And it's like, none of the other kids, like, all of the other kids treat Jon with love, and she doesn't. And it just... And she doesn't like Arya, and... Oh... I mean, there's times when Arya pisses me off, too, but... It's... Those two basically hate each other, and... I'm on Arya's side with this one. I do not like Sansa at all. And, okay, granted, a little towards the end of the book, she does finally start to see that her actions have consequences, and... The time when I do have respect for her is when she goes to, Cersei and begs for Ned's life. Well, Cersei and Joffrey. At that point, I did have immense respect for her, but other than that, like, basically, like, all before that, I'm like, man, girl, she just bothers me. Sorry. Other people I hate. Viserys, obviously, that guy, I was so happy when he died. And I figure it's okay because these characters are fiction, but, I mean, he threatened his sister and her unborn child, like, threatened to kill her. That's messed up. Like, I don't care how badly you want to be king, you don't threaten to kill your own family. That's, dang, that's messed up. So when he was crowned, oh my gosh, I freaking loved it. I was so excited. Who else? I hate Joffrey, obviously. He is a little son of a bitch, literally. And he's just, I don't know how you can be that monstrous. And what I don't understand is that, yeah, his parents are complete assholes, so you would think then it's understandable that he's an asshole, but then how did their younger kids get so nice? Like, Myrcella, I think it's Myrcella, and Tommen, like, they're chill, they're, like, normal kids. Joffrey is just a little monster, so hate him. Obviously, Cersei and Jaime, I don't like at all. Apparently, I talked to, someone who told me that, Jaime actually ends up redeeming himself a little bit in later books, and then, doesn't. Like, then he goes back to being blah. But, yeah, so maybe I will end up liking him at some point, but I kind of doubt it. And Cersei, I don't like her at all. And honestly, in this book, I thought Robert was quite a useless character. So yeah, I didn't really care for him. I thought he had, like, he was supposedly, like, brave and stuff, but he was also, emotionally, he was kind of blind as a bat, and just, I didn't care for him very much. But okay, I've been talking for 10 minutes, and I feel like I need 10 more minutes to talk about this. So this is actually going to be the end of part 1, and I'm going to put up a part 2. So yeah, that was basically like all the characters I hate, and then in the next part I'll talk about the characters I love, and the scenes and lines that I love, and stuff like that. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and let me know what you think of my hatred down below, and I will see you guys in part 2. Bye!